Hey folk, this is just a really short video about how to center the cutting tools on the lathe. Now, every time before you use the lathe or do any sort of turning, it's always really good practice to make sure that you're centering the cutting tool like you can see in this tool here. The point of it is to be able to make sure that the cutting blade is at the correct height and that the point of that cutting blade aligns with the center rotation of that cutting point. So I'm just going to walk you through the process of how we do that. Alright, so this is just a view of our lathe from the top. What we've got here is over here we've got our chuck, here we've got our toe post, and here we've got our tailstock. Now before we want to adjust the height, we need to place the center in here so that we can line it up with the center. The easiest way to do that is just by adjusting the handle at the back here, and when that happens, that there simply pops out and we can wind it back in place and pop that in. With that in place, we just need to briefly turn this around so that it can line up. So we've got the lock nut that is on the top of the toe post. We undo that, then we can turn that around and line it up. From there, it's just a case of undoing this lock on the top of the tool post so that we can raise and lower the actual tool that is inside it. To make sure that we get it at the right height, you bring your eye physically down and you look at it from the side and you keep adjusting the nut that is above the tool until you can tell that the top plane of that cutting tool lines up. So you bring it up a little bit above, bring it down. Perfect. Now that it's at the correct height, all you need to do is lock it in place. And then you can turn the lock nut on the top. So you can turn it around and position this however you want it for cutting your work. And that might seem a little bit complex and a little bit fiddly, but all you're doing is you're just turning this around every time, checking that it's at the right height of the center, and that way we know that we're going to be cutting the best work that we can, and it's going to minimize any vibrations and it's going to stop damaging our tools. So that is how to center your work.